Okay, I think we are live, hopefully. And hello, guys. Welcome. It's been a while, hasn't it? But yeah, let's get this ready. Let's get this done. And today, what we're going to be doing is watching a couple of videos by Cozier Lobster. The reason I wanted to watch videos from this guy is because he's covered a few like AI generated hentai games, or like at least hentai games that incorporate AI generated content into them, even if in a more like minor way, right? And so I wanted to go over then for us to compare, like which ones did it better, which ones did it worse, this kind of thing. Also, if the stream suddenly disconnects, I'm sorry, but I've been facing issues, possibly. But yeah, without further ado, let's start. Just let me check something before we do. And yeah, okay, let's go.
What's up, guys? You're here with Cozy Lobster for the review of I Wish I've Never Got Into That Dungeon. Man, ain't that a mouthful? And that seems a little over the top to me. I mean, look at this title card and listen to that music. And don't tell me it isn't over the top. It sounds a little ridiculous. It sounds like we're about to watch a tragedy of a young man and his best friends getting massacred as he's forced to watch the love of his life get ripped apart or something. When in all actuality, it's just a crappy game being a glorified walking simulator, and even that's giving it a little too much credit.
Don't worry, we are going to comment on this gameplay later because oh god. Anyway,
That is mainly just there to pad out the sections between all the AI generated art, with the only saving grace of this game being the story, and it's about NTR, which is wild to say. Well, I kind of hesitate to even use that word though. That's what the game marketed itself as. But it's not like any of the characters are in a relationship. They're just childhood best friends that just happen to have feelings for each other. And no one has the cojones to confess to each other. I mean, I guess it meets the bare minimum of that definition to win the argument. It's not like they're committed to each other or anything. I mean, the scenes definitely make it feel like they are. The most interesting part is that Mr. Steal Your Girl isn't just a blank face that just happens to appear into the picture.
this is also something interesting I've noticed that like in a lot of NTR, quote unquote NTR manga, the characters aren't in a relationship yet. Like yeah, they are interested in each other, so it is a betrayal, uh quote unquote, in that sense. But like in a lot of them they're not in an actual relationship, so like Cozier Lobster said, it's less NTR and just Mr. Steal Your Girl, you know. It's just someone that is more forward than you and then comes and swoops in because you're hesitating too much. So yeah, just something interesting to notice.
Puts his dick on the table and says, I know you want a bit
Pretty
of
much a
this.
Fisher.
And just that magically works to get the woman to woo over him. He has a character. He's still an asshole and a scumbag, but there is a little bit of humanity in there that prevents the story from just being completely generic. Speaking of which, this time around, we follow three newbie adventurers. Haru, he's a good-hearted young chap who can barely swing a sword. And his two childhood best friends. We have Miss Boob Window, who is named Tia, the priestess of the party, while the other one is a tsundere named Nina, the backline mage. All three of them are going on a journey to reach the bottom of a floor of a famous dungeon in order to claim the vast riches located there, in order to buy medicine to save their village from a disease that is spreading. Well, Haru volunteered to go and his two friends were just worried about him, so they just kinda tagged along. Ain't that sweet?
How
Though, when they
nice.
get to the dungeon, they are barred from entering due to the stupidest rule I have ever heard to specifically cuck our main protagonist. In order to enter, the party just so happens to need 4 party members. It doesn't matter whether you're strong or have experience, they need to have a 4th man to move the plot forward.
I don't know. I want to remember because I remember there was like an anime that also had this kind of dumb restriction, treating like guilds like they're like fucking clubs in a school, but with like the minimum members requirement, etc. But I can't remember right now. Sorry.
Which, of course, that's when the real man of the hour shows up, Mr. Stelia Girl Darius. I mean, look at him. Tall, tan.
Oh, hello, Big Pew. Welcome to the stream. Not much. Like the video, like barely started. Essentially, what we know is that this is an NTR game, and it's AI generated, as you can see. Well, they always have 4 people in the party. Yeah, this is like a cliche, obviously, but I remember there being an anime where that was an actual requirement, like in this game, like not just a kind of cliche thing, but an actual requirement as well. Also, can I just like comment on this? Why is it always like some tan guy with blonde hair? I know that this is kind of the stereotypical image of the delinquent, but why is it always why are these like NTR guys or these scumbag guys always like this? Like I don't know. I guess I get that it's a cliche, but it just too common a cliche. Like just vary their appearances a little. Like make it their hair like red or some shit. That's all I'm asking. AI generated NTR game. Yeah, it's time to wrap it up. That's a double negative. Anyway, tradition. I don't know, man. I think the mangakas don't like putting themselves in the NTR shoes. I I don't get it, man. They're the anti self insert. I I think that's because a lot of NTR manga are about the like kink of getting cucked instead of like being instead of cunking someone else, which just seems like very I don't know weak to me. But anyway,
And so well built. Oh, I'm already melting. Darius just so happens to also be looking to join a party and has experience in the dungeon. The girls of the party don't very much like his playboy personality, but what else are they gonna do? Waiting means more people might die. So they reluctantly convince themselves to let him join the party, and boy, ain't that gonna be a recurring theme. So the new party heads off to enter the dungeon, which leads us to the gameplay section, which just blows ass.
no, 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 no. Let me play that again. Let's experience the magic of the gameplay, quote unquote.
Join the party, and boy, ain't that gonna be a recurring theme. So the new party heads off to enter the dungeon.
Look at this. Like this isn't even an auto battler. All you do is apparently click to move and to grab items, and the battles just occur by themselves. Like, there aren't even like any battle animations. There's no item usage. There's nothing. This is like this isn't even an auto battler, man. Like this is Diablo with less steps. And that's mainly the thing I wanted to clown on because it's not just like artwork that is AI generated. In a lot of aspects, it looks like the gameplay is also AI generated. And as we are going to see, the story also feels AI generated. It doesn't feel like humans had part in any of this thing's creation, you know? Ah, sorry, I'm laughing too much. Anyway.
dungeon. Which leads us to the gameplay section, which just blows ass. In essence, you will be scaling the dungeon's multiple levels, which you can beat by progressing through floors until you make it out of the arbitrary floor count to unlock the next level. The problem is
Unironically, the gameplay in Bo's Adventure was 1,000 times more fun than whatever the fuck am I looking at here. At least, there were battle animations and, like, fucking actual art and, a story that feels at least like creative. It had things going for it. Anyway. Okay. I don't know why people don't just write light novels instead of doing whatever the fuck this is. Honestly, a light novel would be like 1,000 times more enjoyable than whatever the hell this is, you know? It really, like you said, it feels like he turned on the Q aura. Like, why the fuck even make a game at this point? Whatever. Or you know what? You don't even need to make it like a light novel. Just make a visual novel. Like, if this is the gameplay you're going to be like putting in, like, what the fuck is the point? You know? Can someone do this, but with that stinky librarian from Blue Archive, and she's going around causing people to pass out? Oi, you respect my girl, okay? Don't you dare talk bad about her. Would you rather play 10 hentai puzzle games slash card games than one of these? Yes. At least again, it's games. In fact, I know a pretty good, like, I'm not remembering the name right now, but I know a pretty good, like, hentai puzzle game involving two princesses. But anyway, let's continue.
is that it is an auto battler, and the only thing you're really controlling is this thing here. So the gameplay is just really boring. You're wandering around on top of a blown up picture trying to figure out what you can and can't run into because that ain't really clear. Monsters will randomly attack you every once in a while where
And look at the like amount of things that are AI generated. The background is AI generated. The character portraits are AI generated. Like the enemy portraits are AI generated. And like he said, like this whole background is just a stretched out image. It looks like the kind of thing like I play on D&D with my friends in like Roll20, it's that amateurish. Anyway.
they get to fight the creatures as you're wandering around with your happy ass looking for a crystal to teleport you to the next floor. The only thing you contribute to the fight is activating their character skills when their meter builds up. Boy Wonder boosts attack and defense, Attitude does an AoE of damage, Miss Window heals, shocker, and the only credit that I will give them here, because I found it funny, is that Mr. Steal Your Girl is so much of an independent man that you are not even allowed to activate his ability. And he does it automatically, which is just an AoE attack.
Well, at least that's an interesting touch. But yeah, like the best way the best comparison I make is like this is Blue Archive gameplay but shitty. Like this is literally Blue Archive gameplay if there were no battle animations, the background sucked, and like you had even less control over what happens. It's just a lot of people already criticize Blue Archive gameplay, and those criticisms are valid. But imagine taking that and making it even worse. Jesus Christ. Ah. I seen scratch games with more effort than this. I'm genuinely curious how ChatGPT integrates age scenes into this. I guess we'll find out.
Though, at the time, I was a little peeved about it, so I decided never to upgrade his equipment, just out of petty spite. Not like the game got any harder when I did that. Each party member has their own levels and rank up over time, so you will just bash your way through eventually, even if you get stuck. but at some point it's so unbalanced that some of the levels are just easier than the last ones you just beat. There's also an assortment of items and short-term buffs scattered throughout the floors that will help you too. Though, for some godforsaken reason, you can only carry up to 9 of one item, so once you pick up the max amount, you're not really encouraged that much to wander around unless you like to play do nothing while the party grinds XP simulator. Even when everyone in the party happens to die, your slap on the wrist is getting sent back to the guild and losing half your gold. Though the game does know how to really piss me off because they also place traps randomly throughout the floors that you can just walk on that hurt you or poison you.
Again, like I said, if the gameplay is going to be like this lacking in interaction and like and just care at all, like why not just make a visual novel? I don't get it. It will be way easier and less embarrassing than this.
I swear to God, if I step on one more of those fucking things, I wish the person who implemented those a hell of a painful toe stub. Each level also has a gimmick, and not a cool one either. It's usually just something that encourages you to get the fuck out as fast as possible. Like suicidal robots, random lightning strikes, or having a combination of both. At the end of the day, the gameplay is only here to pad out the sections of the visual novel and be nothing more. It's just a grueling, unbalanced slog to get through. So, how is the visual novel aspect of the game? Well, unlike the other games I reviewed that can vary from kind of loosely trying to shove hentai into the plot or just straight up pretending that stuff never happens, in my opinion this is just one big hentai experience. Mainly straight up pretend games I reviewed that can vary.
Okay, it's unrelated to the game that he's reviewing, but I also saw the review for this game, and I gotta say, like, there's a scene that's very funny in a very, like, screwed up way, right? Because this girl, in the game is, like, the only girl in the army, right? And so on her like graduation ceremony, on like the ceremony where she like concludes her training and becomes like an actual official soldier, right? The sergeant, the person in charge, addresses her directly, and he essentially says like, "And to you, girl, I need to warn you. Uh, if a higher ranking officer or a member of the nobility like sexually assaults you, you let that happen. Like you don't react because like they outrank you, and so it's just going to be trouble for you. Like just let them do it. Oh, and if your fellow soldiers sexually assault you, just let that happen as well because like we need to keep cohesion in the army. And if like there's a soldier that attacks other soldiers like without being attacked first, like that could throw things for a loop that could disrupt the unit's cohesion. So you let them sexually assault you as well. Oh, and another thing, like you know the villagers, the people that you're supposed to save and supposed to protect, uh, you let them sexually assault you as well. Like if they sexually assault you, you don't react either because like the villagers are supposed to see you as a protector. So if you attack them, like obviously that's not going to be good for the image of the army. Essentially, if anyone sexually assaults you, just let it happen because like your bodily autonomy is not important. It's just such a funny scene in such a like fucked up, exaggerated way that it just stuck in my mind, honestly. Anyway, continuing.
Vary from kind of loosely trying to shove hentai into the plot or just straight up pretending that stuff never happens. In my opinion, this is just one big hentai experience, mainly due to just setting up the punchline. The cucking chair. That's how NTR stories kind of go anyways usually, where they have to build up to why said character would ever dream of cheating on their significant other. So you can't really separate the plot and the hentai since that's the main focus. cucking Haru. Which is fine. I don't always need to go on time looping journeys, and on the side I sell my ass to make a quick buck. You can implement that stuff as the main focus of the story, it's just most of the characters are just one note or just flat. So it's mainly your generic story that focuses on Darius slowly converting both of Haru's best friends from ignorant twink loving fools into aggressive sausage loving animals. Which is funny because it's done in a way that shows how incompetent Haru always is, by comparing him to Mr. Stereo Girl, which either feels shoved in or over the top. Like most of the time it goes something like, "It's okay, Haru, you can barely cut down a single goblin with your twig arms shaking like a lamb, while Darius took the whole horde down with one swing of his giant axe." It gets to the point where it's like a circle jerk half the time between everyone, where Haru's excluded and is told, "It's okay, champ, you'll get them next time." Though, I am curious, what the hell was he doing the whole time in his village where they came from, while his friends were training? Both of them can wield magic. We get a flashback of him helping both of them, but for some reason, he doesn't know how to wield a sword? I guess it's because the plot demands it, but it just feels so weak and it's hard to root for the man. But it always got a chuckle out of me as how they always have to jab at Haru by comparing him to Darius. Darius is probably the most unique character out of the bunch because he has somewhat of a conscience and knows what he's doing is kind of fucked up, but he just doesn't care and goes after what he wants. Every few floors, it usually plays a cutscene progressing the story, and
Mm. Okay. Honestly, it's not even bad game design to let you go through without upgrading equipment. I did that in Persona 4 because I didn't know that you had to sell stuff to the blacksmith to get more gear. Honestly, they don't even have to make a full visual novel. If they're insistent on making a game, they can just make a traditional RPG or a game like I forgot what that game was called, Adventuring Matilda. Honestly, if this was just a normal, like, generic JRPG, again, anything, any idea would be 1,000 times better than whatever the hell they try to do, you know? But anyway, what? I wasn't expecting them to straight up say, "Let them rape you." I wonder what she's the only woman in the military. It's explained that it's not common for a woman to be in the military. Like, uh, they're allowed to, but women are kind of an exception. Women in the military are kind of an exception in this world. Like, it's a thing that doesn't occur, that occurs very rarely, essentially. So much so that throughout the whole like history of the game, of that one I was talking about, there are only, I want to say, 3 confirmed women that have ever been to the military of that world. So yeah. Anyway, I wonder what the others' fetish is. Oh, I wonder. That sounds like a fun challenge. Create a game worse than that. Oh god, I don't even want to imagine that. I was being sarcastic. It's obvious. Okay, let's continue.
starting out, Darius is a chill dude, teaching them, giving them tips on what to look out for, and just acting like a mentor. But very quickly, his other trait comes out, being a massive horn dog, which he was kicked out of his last squad due to fooling around with the other members. And I guess he just didn't really learn a lesson from that because he's trying it again here. But he does at least ask Haru what his relationship is with the other girls, which Haru proceeds to beat around the bush and settles on being friends for now. Darius, in turn, tells Haru multiple times throughout the story, in fact, that the early bird gets the worm. So, Darius does see the group all kind of have feelings for each other, but Horny doesn't give a crap about that. If Haru can't say how he really feels, he's going to take his own advice and make a move himself. Which more or less leads to Darius guilt tripping / strong arming both of the girls by ping ponging back and forth into slowly accepting his advantage.
If they're just friends, this is fake NTR. Yeah, we were talking about that, like me and A Fisher were talking about that during the beginning of the stream. How a lot of NTRs like this. Like, it's not that the characters are actually in a relationship, they just have feelings for each other. And so you're the guy is kind of getting in the way of a blossoming romance, but he's not really like cucking anyone because no one is actually in a relationship. Unfortunately, is it unfortunate? Anyway, uh, a lot of NTRs like that.
advances, with it usually going something like, I saved Haru in that last fight there, so if you don't please me, I am going to walk. Kind of thing. Why'd I make Darius sound like Yogi Bear there? Hey, boo boo. Today we're not gonna raid them picnic baskets. We're gonna go cuck the shit out of a poor bastard. He also somehow
Why did he do that? Seriously, why did he do that?
convinces them that this is just training for when they eventually get with Haru. This is why I find NTR shit so fucking ridiculous. Oh yeah, totally training. This ultimate
Okay, what? Nah, I had something to comment here, but it's better not
really
to.
culminates into him eventually getting the priestess so hammered that she can't even think straight and bangs her, then somehow getting Rina into a room in the dungeon that only lets you out if you bang. I wonder why there's always these stupidly convenient rules in these games. Shitty writing. Excuse me there. Which he does by overloading her senses and just goes for it. Once both the girls cross that bridge, the story just mainly evolves into an open season of them just copulating like rabbits, anytime, anywhere, while Haru's just too oblivious.
I mean, I can't really tell because I don't have this game. I only watched the review. But what I will say is that, like, how do I put this? Uh, as generic as it looks, I'm going to say that for the most part, the AI art in this game is fine. If there's one part where they actually cared was in actually making the AI art not look like complete fucking garbage. It still doesn't look good, just due to being AI art, but I highly doubt that the like hentai scenes themselves are like hideous or something like that, just from the quality, quote unquote, of the rest of the stuff.
To pick up on anything might be weird. What's that fucking smell? I mean, Darius is still a manipulative asshole that took advantage of both of the girls, so don't get me wrong. But at the same time, there is a glimpse that there could have been something more. I really wish the story focused more on Darius's consciousness a bit more, and maybe had a little more interaction with Haru, maybe convincing him to give up on them because they're whores or something. I found those nuggets in the game way more interesting than just the generic faceless man corrupts girl because that's what this genre is all about storyline. There is, and I'm going to put quotes here, but there is character growth that both of the girls go through. But it's so weak that it doesn't really mean anything and kind of just ruins the good ending. And yes, there are multiple endings, but their stories mainly revolve around discovery. Well, they definitely discovered Darius's thing, but it revolved around ending. And
I also love this kind of thing. Like, I get that they're just trying to make things more convenient for the player, but when your good ending, your bad ending is literally decided by one choice, and when, like, not only is that choice very clearly the bad ending, but when you emphasize literally putting bad ending in the like, at some point, it's too ridiculous, okay? You need to trust the player's intelligence, at least to some degree, okay? Anyway, welcome to the stream, Gummy Gun. Welcome.
And yes, there are multiple endings, but their stories mainly revolve around discovery. Well, they definitely discovered Darius's thing, but it's more about self-discovery. It's just kind of told in a crappy way and it's just very subtle, but each of them takes something away at the end after being baptized in the sauce. Tia, who is a very shy, reserved girl, becomes more of an aggressive person knowing what she wants, and
I'm sorry, dude, but sometimes people want generic plots in their age games. Uh, like I don't mind the I like assume you're talking to me and not to like the dude in the video. Uh it's not like that the plot being generic that pisses me off or like bothers me. It's just like the choice, you know? Like, come on, give some credit to the people watching, to the intelligence of the people watching. At least just take out like that message, like bad ending. Just we can tell that it's the bad ending. Like you don't need to be this disrespectful to our intelligence. You know, that's more or less my point. You know, I'm talking to that. Okay, okay. So the whole like commentary was like just completely useless. Okay, sorry. The thing that says bad ending is so funny, really is. Uh, anyway, moving on.
Apparently, she really likes sex. Like her ripping the clothes off of Darius in the dungeon to get some action. While
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Rena had to stick up her ass due to her never having self confidence because somebody would never confess to her. But Darius showed her quite a bit of love, so she kind of dropped that attitude a bit. Even Haru kind of finally discovered that he loves the girls and will confess to them once they clear the dungeon, which by then might be a little too late. The three endings have greatly different outcomes, which starts once we get to the bottom of the dungeon and beat the boss, which that is done off screen. They move in to collect the treasure when the boss gets back up and swings at both of the girls. The good ending revolves around Haru standing up against the boss, while the two bad endings revolve around Haru hesitating, which we'll look at those two first, which has Darius step in to save the two girls to take out the beast in one blow. And from here, we'll jump ahead in time to Haru in the hotel deciding whether or not he should go through and confess to the girls, since they did make it to the bottom of the dungeon, but he did puss out in trying to be a hero, which makes him think now's not the right time. If he does pussy out again, the story ends with the party staying together and traveling around conquering other dungeons. Haru hopes that one day that he can confess to both of them when he feels ready, but being blissfully unaware that both of his girls are already taken.
Just fucking this poor bastard.
If Haru does go and confess to them, he'll end up stumbling upon Darius, Rina, and Tia having an after party threesome, thanking Darius for saving their lives. Which, after Haru sat in the cuck chair to watch that performance, he runs back to this village and proceeds to shut himself away, believing that he was betrayed by all of them, living the rest of his life as a very bitter person for being cucked. Now,
Those are certainly some very interesting bad endings. That's the most like choice and player interaction you have the whole game is amazing. Anyway, all I'm hearing is that Tia and Rina should just relieve each other. Fucking Yuri fans. God damn it, another one. What about the Yuri ending where he loses and he gets NTR? Thought Darius would have died there. I mean, I get wanting an interesting story in age games, but I don't like. But don't be like, I need backstory of some banking stepmother. That's great. Yeah, I think I get your point, A Fisher. That like he's going too far and like criticizing too much what is very much an okay plot. You know, it's just that like let's step away from this for a bit. Let me show you his catalog. It's just that this dude is so like used to covering hentai games that are like completely like balls to the walls crazy that coming across a more generic plot is like I think it hits a lot harder for him, you know? Like let's just go over some of the highlights. Like this one is literally about a couple of people being stuck on an island and like having a harem situation there. With one of the endings, like with this like red-haired girl, including like her being a literal succubus, and all of the interactions with her occurring in the land of dreams. So you are like so the host in the whole story, like you are actually getting closer to her, but you think that you're just like some cringy dude, like having all these like fantasies about a girl he's barely speaking to. Well, lo and behold, actually, you are getting some. This other one is Demon Roots. It needs no introduction. It's kind of on the same level of Black Souls in the sense of like it being one of those classic hentai games with a good story. Slave Sword is like still a generic story, but like it's at least more interesting. This thing is Jesus Christ. This is so balls to the walls. I can't even begin to describe it. But you get the point, right? Like, and yeah, skill issue, I get it, but like, I also understand his like perspective. Like, yeah, it's cringe, and like, there's no need to criticize it this much. But I also get where he's coming from. Anyway, by the way, I didn't know that A Simple Life with My Unobtrusive Sister came out. It didn't really come out. It's in kind of early access. You know? Hmm. Anyway. Hate to be that guy, but like he didn't do anything and got mad that they screwed some other guy. That's very insane. I get your point, but I'm not getting into that. If your H game doesn't have lore on why everyone doesn't immediately get pregnant, then I don't want it. Anyway, if you wanted, he could find the hidden gem. I mean, he did. To his credit, succubus sexy when it's anime. Ones in real life, ones that are demons are ugly in real demon types. There are succubi in real life. Moving on.
Now if we go back and look at the good ending, though this is the greatest thing the game has to offer, because it has Haru go up and defend both of the girls without any hesitation this time around from the final boss. And I shit you not, he doesn't go up and block a hit with his sword, or strike it down with the fucking thing. No, what he does is take the hit from the creature, which leads him bleeding out due to a scythe-sized hole in his body. Both of the girls just lock up and freak out crying. Darius is so stunned by the noble act that he even hesitates for a moment before cutting down the beast. And the last thing we see is his vision fading to black, thinking he just died. Only to have him wake back up at the hotel, saved by a potion Darius just happened to have on hand. Both of the girls
By astonishing coincidence.
also just relieved that he lived through this incident, which was so traumatic enough for them that it woke both of the girls out of their cum-induced trance and realized that
Cum-induced trance.
has always been there for them. As both of the girls leave the room for an errand, Darius just comes clean with Haru and tells him that he's been sleeping with both of the girls, which Haru just kind of just giga chads up and tells him that he had a feeling that he was, and he doesn't really care because they weren't committed to each other. While he's not grateful that Darius
Then from incel ending to like Giga Chad, no, I don't care. They weren't committed, so you could have your way with it, but now it's my turn. Fucking Giga Chad Haru ending. Do you mean iDubbbz his wife? Good reference there.
took advantage of the situation, he's not mad either. Haru had a dream and he just wanted to commit to it, which is a weird breath of fresh air in this kind of genre. This wraps up pretty quickly with Darius leaving the team to do some introspection on himself, while Haru confesses to both of the girls of his dream, and of course they both say yes. I love the good ending because it's just so stupid that it shows Haru, instead of changing over time and growing stronger with his combat experience, he just goes up and bodies a hit. Like, what did he learn from this shit show of an experience? In my opinion, it is the least likely one to happen just due to how much those girls, by the end, were infatuated with Darius. But maybe seeing Haru dead would have woken them up. I would have gave the game a 3 out of 10 crustaceans. The only thing that the game has going for it, funny enough, is the NTR storyline. And I'm not even sure if that isn't AI generated or not. And it wouldn't surprise me if it is. Which I haven't really brought up because I don't even know how to talk about that stuff. I really just don't have an opinion on AI generated art, one way or the other. I mainly played this game because I needed a burner game while I was waiting for another game to come out. And also, I was just kind of curious. With today's day and age, definitely when it comes to generated AI, I thought, why not take a peek inside Pandora's box? Just behold, it was just shit. If this was just a visual novel, it would have been 10 times better. The gameplay is just that horrific to me. But if it wasn't here, then the later half of the game would have just been different porn scenarios. So it's just rough overall. The story is the only saving grace for the most part, and it's just your typical NTR scenario. So if you're into that, sure, get your rocks off, but the characters are just flat for the most part. At least the ending was very entertaining to me, but I play these games because there's usually a charm to them. God, I don't even know if that's the right thing to say given the contents that I review, but I'm just gonna roll with it anyways. I just find it fascinating how people try to incorporate their art into a bigger media like games while trying to tell a story and fit that in with a few fetishes of theirs into just one big package. So in this case, that luster is just kind of lost, where I can see it a bit in the story side of things, but the art isn't always consistent or it's just uncanny, which is to be expected with this kind of stuff. I could be optimistic about it and say that this media allows developers to make something more in their taste, or be pessimistic and just say it's a cheap cash grab using AI. So, in truth, I don't care. I was just hoping to see more out of this, given that something else was doing all that work, but what I got was a crap ton of scenes, but a mediocre story and shitty gameplay. But I guess you guys can let me know how you feel because God forbid I do my own research on how people feel about generated AI smut. But the game is $10, 160 CG scenes, so take it as it is. But
Fucking $10 too many. Okay. Now let's go to like another one. Uh, this one isn't really like AI generated. It pretty much only has like a couple of AI generated assets, but it's still an interesting game. So we'll watch that next. Before we do though, let me just grab something. BRB. Oh, bye, Big Pew. Thanks for coming to the stream.
what's up, guys? You're here with.
Oh, hello, Akira. Welcome.
Cozy Lobster for the review of Love and Life, Happy Student. A fetch quest, inventory management, visual novel dating sim? It's kind of not an easy game to put a single tag onto. It's a dating sim where you wow the women by throwing everything in the kitchen sink at them, and progress through a story by going around town and doing the most random crap. You play as insert character name, who just graduated at the top of their class and is going to the most prestigious college in the area. You're more or less wearing the skin suit of someone who has no downside. This man can do it all, right?
So you're playing Persona. Okay, let me get caught up with the comments and then we'll continue. Yeah, real life lore. I hear people that encounter succubus, but they look hot at first, but they turn ugly. Plus, if you know soon, as they get a man, they turn. Oh, okay, okay. That's what you're referring to. Ah, okay. That is the right thing to say. Aero games are just so majestic. Seems like a $4 game at most, especially since they didn't have to pay artists. Should be free if made fully by AI. I agree. I'm curious about the Censor and Dead End Coliseum. We're going to watch the Censor later. Cannot wait to see the next Chaos Heads live. That's probably going to take a while, sorry. I'll have to see if we'll do it either next week or like if it will still take a while. But yeah. Anyway. I already said bye to Big Pew. I'll need to catch up with the previous streams. Oh, you mean in Chaos Head? Oh yeah, yeah. Quite a few things happened. Quite a few things happened. I'll just say. Welcome to the stream, Akira. Dibs on the Twin Tails, girl. Yu Narukami looks there. What the fuck was that last Brown Dust trailer, man? The one with the magical guy. God damn it, you just like activated a core memory, like, dude. How? Like, how in the hell did they sexualize sweatpants? Like, how in the hell do you do that? How in the hell do you make sweatpants sexy? I don't understand. Anyway. Is that a gyaru? I see better ones, like an underrated anime. My girlfriend is a gal. Okay. Let's continue now.
And play music, design and make clothes, land 3-pointers all day, and somehow mathematically prove that Einstein's an idiot and you can go faster than the speed of light.
God damn, there's Gary Stews and then there's this. Holy shit, what?
I don't think I've seen someone with this much plot armor in a long time. If that wasn't enough, the game also gives you an AI waifu named Luna at the start, which is your Deus Ex Machina anytime a pro tycoon gets stuck. You need dirt on somebody? She's got you. You need a virus created to get into someone's computer? She's got you. You need to hack into a nuclear site? I'm pretty sure she's did that before breakfast. Anyways, in this universe,
Magical Girls in Brown Dust 2 is crazy. It really is. Welcome to the... Okay, you got me with that one, Fisher.
University sim, you will go day by day, slowly attending school and improving your relationship with the women around town, and trying to keep up with the strange plot of the story, which has you going from country bumpkin, slowly trying to fit in, to transitioning to you becoming the school's savior and figuring out that a dark organization is pulling the strings at the school and misleading the student population. It's like a Scooby-Doo mystery. For the majority of the game, your perspective will be locked into this overhead view of the environment, where you will click on things to interact with them and navigate through the different areas of the game. So it's kind of like a point and click adventure. With your days
Everything can and will be sexual, true and real.
slowly progressing through 8 different stages. These stages usually progress when you take an action or do an event. I never noticed any time limited events. The only thing that really matters is that events will happen at a certain time and location. Our guy also has an energy meter and a mood meter. Energy is used up when you do an action, while your mood meter affects how much stats you get out of doing an action, which this usually goes down when you do something boring like teaching class or going to work. You can recover.
I really like anime girls in yoga pants and leggings. But that's my point. Like, yoga pants and leggings, like, yeah, that I understand. Sweatpants, like, only nowadays, man. Only with Rule 34 can someone ever sexualize sweatpants.
For these by sleeping, playing games, showering, or even consuming items. But mood mainly affects how much experience points, affection points, and star currency you get when socializing with people, so it's important to keep that full because the main thing you will be doing is interacting with people in a minigame called Socialize. This will be the main way you increase your relationship with all the women of the game, and progress through events that pop out through the story. Which boils down to a turn-based resource management where you will sit on your hands and pray to God that your abomination of a Megazord you put together wins the fight for you. I love the concept for this game because it's supposed to be you having a conversation with someone, and it's just your character throwing things at them like they're a cat trying to get their attention. And just look at this. It's a confusing mess. Which it doesn't really help that the game wants to shove a crap ton of stupid terms down your throat to give it a unique twist. The goal of the minigame is to make your opponent's health, or fortitude in this case, go to 0 before yours reaches 0. Every
Uh, kind of unrelated, but this reminded me of like a thing I did in a non-hentai game that I played. Because in Fallout 4, yeah, shitty game, I know. But in Fallout 4, when you increase your intelligence, like intelligence not only gives you a couple of unique and interesting perks, but every level in intelligence, uh, like gives you a bonus on EXP earned. And so my thought process was like, wait, if I like invest in like 10 intelligence from the very start, then everything else will become easier to level. And lo and behold, like that actually happened because I'm pretty sure at level 10 intelligence you just get double XP. And so you're just leveling up twice as fast as you're supposed to, and you can just unlock everything else like super fast. I have no idea. Well, I do have because that game is like very poorly balanced, but like I don't understand how that's not a more popular exploit. You know, I really don't. Anyway,
turn, each of the characters will take a basic swing at each other, but the real meat and potatoes is the board here. The board is something that you can prepare before combat that can be set up at any time, for whatever kind of strategy you want to do to take down your opponent, by placing different items here to improve your character's power. These items can be more health, buffs and debuffs, more damage, or other passives. So if you want to sit there and turtle up with a slow drawn out fight, or unleash the wrath of God into someone's derriere, it's up to you because the game gives you that kind of flexibility. I think I read somewhere that there's over 300 different types of items in the game. Of course, most of these are just your basic stats, but a lot of these items can interact with each other. So your basic item, like a can of peaches, let's say, can now cause a concussion being next to a bike when you throw it at someone. Thinking about that, it can kind of do that in real life too. But without the bike. Playing with this board was the funnest part of the game for me because of all the little things like this. You also are limited by how many items you can place on the board at one time, which is affected by your level, so gaining XP to raise your level is kind of important. The
magical girls in normal anime fight evil by moonlight, and Akira didn't like follow up with anything. Anyway, true, that's a big challenge. The question is, can the AI girl ride you in this game? Well, considering that she's a hologram, unless they like do it like in another game I've seen, like Days with Aino or something like that, where they put the hologram girl in an actual robotic girl body. Like, unless that happens, I don't see that being the case. Sorry. Yeah, it's an OP build in Fallout 4. Intelligence stocks up. Fallout 4 is an okay game. The DLC is better than the main story. Is okay, but Fallout 76 was way worse.
limited space kind of really encourages you to min-max your build, so if you find an item that buffs a certain
Well, that sucks. Try typing it again. Like, try rewording it, Akira. Maybe because a Fisher, this happened to a Fisher too, and they just needed to reword it for YouTube to accept, quote unquote, the follow up comment. So please do try again. I'm curious what you were going to say.
kind of other item, it can nicely tailor your build and that you're going for. The game kind of groups items into 4 different types of traits, so you kind of have a theme to easily group these items together. Honestly, it's more like 2. Like, do you want damage or do you want a little bit less damage that cause a side effect instead? And the same kind of applies to the 2 other traits that are support focused. Do you want to absorb damage or do you want health? And kind of the characters that you fight with in the game all kind of have these type of themes with them when you fight them, or attributes I should call them. So that when you fight them, you can tell that, oh, they're going to regenerate health over time, get shielding, or maybe cause some other side effects to you too. You will get access to different shops across the city based on these traits to buy items to help find whatever you might need. Also, these shops are where you will spend your star points. I don't think there's a cap to how many items you can hold, so your inventory can look like a bloody mess when you start hoarding items, so don't be like me and just sell your crap. Also, you should keep an eye peeled for blue lines that appear when you're hovering over items, because certain items can combine together to make a better item. Both of them, kind of, because sometimes you can kind of screw yourself and the item isn't anywhere close to what it originally was. Honestly, this minigame was so fun for me that instead of chasing booty like the game wanted me to, I was too busy save scumming and reloading the game just to refresh the items in the shop and hoping to find a better item to improve my build.
It's always funny to me whenever people like begin to care more about like the gameplay of a hentai game than the actual hentai. There's a particular hentai game, I don't remember the name of it, that got very notorious for that, where like it's essentially a game about a survival game about you and this girl being stuck on this island, right? Like this deserted island, and the whole point of the game is to do like the usual survival gameplay so that the girl is more attracted to you so you can get the hentai scenes, right? But the actual like survival gameplay is so well done that a lot of people just saw the girl like being attracted to you and trying to get you away from work for sex like as a nuisance. And so like they began to like uh imprison her in like her own little like box, so she wouldn't bother them. They could just like build in peace. Like silence, wench, I do not wish to be horny anymore. I just want to be happy, that kind of shit.
You can't just throw items on the board and expect to win, because those items usually have cooldowns attached to them and they take stamina to use, which is you're limited on how much you can hold and slowly recharge it over time. So you kind of need to balance everything out on your board to help you constantly do DPS, regenerate stamina, and make sure to give yourself enough defense to survive a conversation. Or if you're just good enough, just nuke them. Whatever works for you. I mean, the main reason you're playing this minigame in the first place is to raise your relationship with the different girls of the game. Do whatever you need to do to win. Speaking of which, you have 3 main heroines that you can go after, and 3 side heroines. The 3 main ones being Lu Yating, your typical airhead in Who's Your Classmate; Che Malin, your teacher and poet, a romantic; Quinn Yaling is your president of the student council and a stickler for rules. As for side characters, you have Lu Yaling, who is the
Yeah, there's definitely a Chinese game with these names.
sister of Lu Yating, and she's your tsundere type. Ju Nadi is your yandere stalker, and out of left field, you just have a mermaid. She
Because why not?
doesn't get a name, it's just the mermaid. And I'm sorry if I murdered those names, I can kind of stumble my way through Japanese, not Chinese. The main difference between these 2 groups is that one group gets more content than the other. With the main women, you have a lot more interactions with them and having a lot more of a story plot with them. Also, the majority of the hentai crap are with them. And for the side ones, they only get about half amount of the story events and only a couple H events, which I'll cover more of the hentai stuff here in a bit. But both of them work off the same principle of needing to level up their affection/friendship in order to progress their story by doing events. Those events need you to meet a certain criteria in order for a scene to play, like being at a location at a certain time or having a certain item in your inventory. The game will tell you what criteria you need to meet, so it never really becomes a headache. Proceeding through the main story is handled the same way too, and you will just slowly meet each of these women as you progress through the story. Which this part of the gameplay just feels like a fetch quest. You'll be going around getting ingredients to make dishes. There's a fishing Stardew Valley minigame to get fish, buying items from shops, which you can make money by working at the local coffee shop. These aren't bad, they're just tedious more than anything. Though I say that the game is really overstays its welcome by the end of it, because it took me 13 hours to complete the whole story and see most of the H scenes. There was no need to make the game this long. It's annoying that a lot of these events are just stupid little things that could have been combined together to make a bigger scene, rather than just have me go through multiple days just to get a conclusion. For example, a lot of the story events with Quinn are helping the student council with activities, and one of them has you go through different classrooms to prepare for a festival, so instead of having one scene of you going to the different classes, you have to waste my time by doing this 3 times for every classroom. I might enjoy the gameplay a lot, but it doesn't carry it that much. And another stupid complaint of mine is sometimes you'll get items that don't matter for these scenes too. Like, I made fish balls for the mermaid, and it never came up in the scene, and I was just kind of sad by it. I put my heart and soul into that, and I wanted to know if she liked it or not. I think the best way to describe the tone of everything in the game is it's just like half stupid and just half ridiculous. It's stupid because half of the crap that goes on in the story doesn't make sense or doesn't lead to anything either. The ending is such a long, drawn-out disappointment that it's not really worth talking about. But just know that with having the power of believing in yourself, you can even overthrow any type of corrupt obstacle. Twice! And how ridiculous some of these events get is great, because you'll have events that happen like our guy investigating an underground cheating operation, or our guy tracking down a person who's putting pictures of his junk in women's lockers by the medicine he's using. A lot of the time, I didn't feel like I had any pieces of the puzzle, and I was just sitting back and watching the pro-tag-coon pull the most random crap out of his ass to solve his problems. It just feels like the developers just had a blast making this story, and not really caring too much about how it flowed. It's like they were just throwing shit at a wall and seeing what would stick. This also applies for the H content of the game, which, just a friendly reminder, for some reason those scenes are not installed when you download the game. You just have to get the free DLC off of Steam. If it gets taken down, I'm assuming there's a patch somewhere on the developer's website that you can just grab. To unlock these events, it's just like any other type of hentai game. You just need to slowly raise your relationship with the women of who you want to see the scenes of. You have a couple different styles to.
I'll be honest, I don't have much to talk about in like about this section, since it's kind of normal stuff, and I like to leave addressing the comments for later, so I'm just going to put it on 1.5, okay?
To these scenes, one being more of a typical visual novel style. These ones usually have a live 2D movement, and you have other scenes with the characters' overworld models being used. There isn't really a set value to unlock these scenes, at least that I know of. Like for the live 2D scenes, those are rewards for getting past certain story milestones. Those ones you can easily see how to unlock them and how close you are to getting them. But for the other hentai stuff, it just seems like it will randomly stumble into these events while walking around the house sometimes. I did notice an exclamation mark on the map will indicate that there is a scene that will play out if you can find it in that area, but why I was able to see those scenes, I don't really know. But those ones are usually the overworld scenes. Both of these usually have a splurge meter that's attached to them that will build up over time, and you can also change positions a few times with the overworld ones. It seems like they want.
One thing I'll give them is like props for variety. Like they clearly unlike with the last game, actually put a lot of effort into like everything, like the graphics, the gameplay, the story. Like it's clear that this game has genuine effort and like passion put into it. So that I'll give it. Even if some of these systems don't exactly work the best.
Wanted to do something more interactive with the hentai stuff, but it's just kind of bare bones. Like a good example of this is the date minigame, where a certain day
Oh, hello, Big Pew. Welcome.
of the week you can meet with the women in a certain location, and I really wouldn't consider it a date, but go on a date, I guess. It's a game where you will progressively get more handsy with them as they get more aroused, but you can't be too handsy or they'll end the date. You just need to hold down the mouse button and watch the bar build up. Nothing else really happens. You also have the Get Intimate option that pops up when you talk to them, which lets you replay any scenes that you have played out before. Also, there's a satisfaction option that lets you do it in a room, as long as no one else is in the room. I think this one was more for the satisfaction meter of the game, but I never understood what the meter ever did, and leveling up really didn't do anything, so I don't know. There's a lot of these H scenes in the game, and they can also get pretty ridiculous. Like, you just have some of them like your normal vanilla stuff, like God intended it. Then you'll have ones like an octopus crawling up the yandere's cooch at the beach, and Pro-Tag-kun decides to dig that thing out with his disco stick like he's turning butter. That's like one of the only scenes with her, too. And instead of doing something like a yandere would, which would be like tying you up and then going to town with you from there, no! They had to make her yandere because it's just funny. They don't ever utilize it for an obvious ecchi thing. I feel like each of these women have some scene that is somewhat similar to this. Maybe not to that extreme, but still. Also, why do each of these scenes have to have this constant breathing in my ear? And when they reach climax, it's a horrific scream that plays. It's like the Wilhelm scream, and it's not immersive at all. It's just annoying and funny. The only other thing that comes to mind for age-related content is your phone will allow you to text the main girls, and you can get some spicy pics that way. And if you're able to win fast enough with the socialize minigame, you can just blow their clothes off because you're just that much of a smooth talker.
Fucking Seren Kagura-esque mechanic.
I would give the game a 7 out of 10 crustaceans. I feel like it's a fine game that has you jumping around a lot to make sure that you're doing everyone's objectives, while having a very entertaining story, and a socialized minigame that was the highlight of the game for me. I know the developers of this game make other games called Love and Life and Love and War. The Love and War games look like their own can of worms, but at least there's one other Love and Life game that looks very similar to this game, so I might check that one out in the future. I should also point out that there is AI images used in the game, so if you're against that, you can kind of just jump ship. Me personally, I don't really care. They mainly used it on background images, which is obvious. There's also a surprise
Oh, hello, son. Welcome.
amount of music in the game that is played. Most of it's chill, but some of it feels like it belongs in like a paradox strategy game.
That's not the kind
Also,
of
there's a-
music I expected to hear in a hentai game. Like, what the hell? Oh, wait.
Yes. There's also a surprising amount of music in the game that is played. Most of it's chill, but some of it feels like it belongs in like a paradox strategy game.
What the hell?
Also, there's a ton of bugs that I noticed with the game. Nothing game-breaking, but it's more like small things like lighting not working here, dialogue boxes getting cut off here, and dialogue boxes just getting carried over to other conversations. But nothing that I noticed outside of that, and it just happened a lot. It oddly feels like the game's kind of underbaked too. They have a roadmap for updating the game, so maybe it won't feel like this in the future. And also, the game's very cheap for how long I got playtime out of it, so my point's kind of moot there. But with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next debauchery.
Okay, now let's address the comments and then go to the next one. Someone mentioned that they wanted to see, I think it was Big Pew actually, they wanted to see the sensor. And you're in luck because that's exactly the other one like we're going to be watching. Anyway, the gold standard is for New Vegas. Too bad Bethesda secretly hates it. That's a very like well-known story. Yeah, Gummy Gun is just going on about like how Todd Howard is butthurt because like they made a better Fallout game than his. Like it's just the normal stuff. I think everyone knows the story. Wait a minute, that mini game, it's backpack battles. His pain when he mentions that a teacher is romanceable is so obvious. Why would you like feel pain about that? That's I don't get it, man. Wait. I need to comment on this because like before I get to the rest of your comments, like there's this character in Nikkei that's just been released called Mint, right? And like she's just the typical idol type character. Her story is interesting, but it's nothing like too special. Even though I really like her appearance and personality, she's very cute and bold. But what sets her apart is the fact that she calls you her kitten. Yes, that's her like nickname to you. She calls you her kitten. Which, considering that like a bunch of Nikkei, she's 100 years old or more, while the commander is like 20 plus, like early 20s. Like, yeah, the Nikkeis are not beating the groomer allegations with that one. Anyway, moving on. Magical girls in Brown Dust 2 pull a magical wand out of their, oh, no wonder YouTube deleted it. Still can't believe they actually approved that in the trailer. I mean, like, it's Brown Dust 2, like, fucking Brown Dust 2, like, literally has some scenes, like, some, special attack scenes where the girls are pretty much naked. Like, there's a line covering pretty much just the whole of the vagina and nothing else. So I'm not really surprised. Anyway, anyone ever heard of Morimans? Oh, I have actually. Can't believe, but just learned of a gacha that had the balls to do a collab with Saya no Uta. Now that's impressive, I'll say. This free hentai game called Whole House, that's a crazy one. Gonna look that up later. Excuse me? This is why we need human effort and everything. ChatGPT could not think of that with the yandere. True and real. 5 Nights a hentai. There's an actual, it's not a hentai game, but there's an ecchi game called like Five Nights at Anime, Fania, that got pretty popular like at the time, like in the dark ages of 2000 and 2013, stuff like that, you know? It's too ecchi a game for me to play, but yeah, I'll definitely recommend you guys try it out. It's actually a pretty hard game too, so if you're a fan of challenges, it's definitely for you. It's Five Nights at Anime, the name. Anyway, talk about Seran Kagura, I just beat Deep Crimson. After that is Stevo Versus, right? No, it's Shinobi Versus. I was just playing Reflection, and I'm guessing that's just a thing that's on the side. It's Kino. Uh, it's just the images I think Pew Paradox mentioned. I know I'm joking because the last game was probably drawn and written by ChatGPT. Extreme Age Game. Is this an AI generated game? No, the first one we like watched was pretty much fully AI generated. Like these other ones just use it in like secondary art, stuff like that. The images, yes, but Pew said the previous game also had AI text. It had. Like the story, it's pretty much AI as well. Oh, I was thinking of playing the Sensor game. Like it's a game with a very interesting premise. I'll say that. Like, and the gameplay is also very creative. So, if you're into like more like evil protagonist, because the protagonist in this is pretty much just a villain, it's definitely for you. Me too. I was going to get it when I get my visual novel Virtual Machine back up. Mint should write. Okay. Anyway, stop saying that word, bro. You're making me think this is an ASMR. What? I'm watching while waiting for the best moment to strike. What? Didn't know Commander was a Discord user. No. The Commander isn't the one calling her a kitten. That's the thing. She's calling him a kitten. Like, she is the Discord mod and he is her Discord kitten. Anyway. It's a miracle that Browders 2 is allowed on any app stores. True, honestly. Talking about Sayano Uta collabs, have you played Nitro Plus, anyone? Like Nitro Plus games? I'm pretty sure, yeah. I thought you were going to mention, no. Where does Five Nights in Anime fall on the max mode list? I don't know. Wait, is Shinobi Versus, then Stevo Versus? I thought Stevo Versus came out first. No. Shinobi first, and then Stevo. There's also a game called Five Nights. Of course, there is. Yeah, Saya is by Nitro Plus Company. Rest a few of their other visual novels like Dracoi, etc. Gumi getting games out of the deep web. I actually didn't know that. Getting groomed by 200-year-old Nikkeis, like literally, yeah. No, the Nitro Plus fighting game with Homuras. Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't played it, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure it's like PlayStation exclusive. So yeah, I didn't have the chance to. I'm sorry. And yeah, Prika is probably coming out very soon, and a lot of people are hyped for her. Never played, but saw a vid about it. The Seran Kagura timeline is confusing. Why couldn't they just call it Seran Kagura 3? You gotta have creativity, man. Like, come on, man.
The name of the title's more ironic to me since I'm the one who has to censor my own video to upload this.
Okay, a good one.
What's up, guys? You're here with Cozier Lobster for the review of The Censor, a hentai corruption game that has you be a moderator for your favorite social media site, in this case, Facebook, really creative, with the power to slowly turn the world around you into a deprived paradise and finding dirt on people to strong arm them into submission. All with an overabundance of small activities to keep you busy in between the lecturous acts. We follow the perspective of Yuto, who is a computer tech guy who just graduated from college and is desperately looking for a job to stay in his current residence.
Very relatable.
When he thinks there is no hope left, he gets a notification that he just got hired as a moderator for what I'm assuming is the only social media site in this world. His job is to go through and examine any images that get uploaded to the site and eliminate all the ones that don't follow the website's rules. This is what you'll be doing as the main gameplay loop, with you picking a job from a list, going through a set of 10 images, and making sure they meet the website's rules. Which they're fairly basic things that you'll be keeping track of, like making sure that accounts are at least 7 days old, there are no QR codes on the images, and somehow scanning photos to double check that no person is uploading a celebrity photo. Oh, and I almost forgot the most important part, no pornography. This minigame can slightly change depending on which jobs you take at the start, which only either add or remove more constraints, which gives you more or less benefits depending on what you choose. By doing this job, you'll gain money, job experience to get a better position, and helps you lower world corruption. Though you can fail at the job by letting too many ecchi photos get by, which raises more corruption. Before I explain how you're responsible for destroying the minds of everybody in the world with how corruption works, I should explain the world itself. Because the majority of your time will be controlling Yuto to explore the world in his house slippers, even though you can buy new shoes, to interact with NPCs in the
That is a funny detail, yeah. Okay. Homura Saber Supersonic. Oh, actually, that reminds me. I obviously this is going to occur in the very like far future, right? But I was thinking of playing like the Supersonico game since I actually have it, like that one where you take pictures of her. Like I would you guys be interested in that? Anyway, never played, but I saw a video on it. The Sri Kagura time. Okay. Okay, the panty shots. I'm getting Mint and Prika because both are smexy. Uh I don't plan on getting like Prika, but I did get Mint. Like maybe it will convince me. I don't know, but for now I'm just interested in Mint. At least interested in like getting her. There's a great vid about that fighting game. Gonna search it later. Okay. Oh, they're using images from previous games. Yeah, like if you recognize like previous games by like this developer, pretty much well, not all of them, but a lot of the images you see that are used that are posted on the social media and that you have to approve or censor are like images from like previous games. So it serves as a nice little reference, you know? Anyway. And what do you mean creativity? Like it doesn't work like Deep Crimson. Like how the fuck is Homura gonna fit that title into a line? Or Kyria. Literally 1969. It's also interesting that you like recognize that, A Fisher. You must be a big fan of this company. Or this company's hentai games. When asked Deep Crimson. Anyway. A Whole House is basically a game where you can have smacks with all kinds of anime girls or cartoon characters. Oh, okay, so it's a parody game. Okay. It's a crazy game. Also, they had. Okay. I'd be down for those strings, yeah? Okay. Maybe they learned it from side games. A good one. I never seen Supersonico actually. Yes? Okay, most people seem interested. I just know her as Pinterest-chan. How dare you? How dare you call her that? I cannot wait for a new Madoka Magica movie. I didn't even know one was coming out, honestly. Played 2 games from then. Not really. What 2 games did you play? The only other one by this company that I know of is like Days with Aino. So I'm curious, like, what games you got from them.
the other main heroines. A lot of the NPCs will have missions for you, and most of them just boil down to fetch quests or involve a mini game or two. There's a lot of variation to these mini games too. You got everything from being a contestant from the hit TV show Hole in the Wall to surviving a haunted house walk to a bit of Guitar Hero. But NPC missions seem like they're just
I know a lot of people listen to these strings, but just look at the screen right now, please. Fucking, why give the character like a name? No, he's just fucking fanboy. Like he's just the fanboy, the one of all time. Anyway,
there to give basic characteristics to an NPC personality, if anything else. Missions usually pay out with cash and other items. There's also a simple day progression system going from day to night as you do activities. The main thing you gotta keep in mind is that certain activities can only happen during certain times of the day, like confessions in the morning, while the freaks come out at night. So don't be late to recital. In the beginning, your goal is just to make enough money to pay your rent of $200 by the 5th day, and you have to repeatedly pay this bill every 5 days. If you don't, it's game over, so it's kind of a minor recurring inconvenience to make sure that you're kind of doing your job and not overspending at the convenience store or buying your favorite Oshi posters. The other thing that you have to kind of manage is Yuto's energy meter, which if it gets too low, he won't want to do anything. Which
Oh, just like me, for real, for real. What was I going to talk about actually? Oh yeah, yeah. I just learned today that like girls have their own like version of like simping. And it's called like the broke boyfriend phenomena. Essentially, while like most girls will actually want you to pretty much just pay for everything, right? Like most girls are very uh hesitant to even like split the bill in like a restaurant and stuff like that. Like these women who like completely financially support their husbands, like their boyfriends. Like the boyfriend doesn't do anything. He doesn't take care of the kids. He doesn't do anything around the house. He has no job and is not planning to get a job. He is just a lazy bun that's pretty much completely that these girls pretty much completely like support, you know? And then you might wonder, okay, but why would they subject themselves to this? Why would they like be paying for everything for these buns? Well, that's because most of the girls in this situation are very lonely and they're desperate for like any kind of man that will just like at least be there for them, right? That sounds kind of familiar, you know? So yeah, girls. I just recently learned that girls have their own like version of simping. You know, it's very funny.
you can replenish by with food or by other means. There are 3 major locations that you can explore. The first area you have access to is the apartment area, which kind of serves as a tutorial of the game, which introduces most of the game mechanics. You're kind of just stuck there until the bus pass becomes available for sale, which quickly becomes obsolete because the same Kobini that sold
That's actually kind of sad in a way. Simping in general is a very sad thing, Big Pew. Like it's funny to me because I'm looking for like the outside looking in, but like simping in general is just a sad thing, you know.
you the bus pass sells a freaking teleporter, which instantly teleports you to a location, and it's fairly cheap. Why would I waste my time sitting on public transport when I could just teleport out of my fucking apartment? The next
Well, ain't that a crazy detail?
location you would probably go to is the Idol Convention, hosted by Yuto's favorite Oshi, and the last major area that you have is the church, where you better pray to God for him to forgive your sins for what you're about to commit in this game. Each of these locations have their own theme and objectives that you have to do, like the convention has you go around playing with a ton of different mini games in order to complete a stamp book so Yuto can meet his favorite idol, or the church where you go and confess to help raise or lower corruption, and help a menagerie of different people with their problems, because you got roped in as the new help. Which, I think it's about time I circle back around to the corruption mechanic, which will be another resource that you'll have to kind of juggle alongside with everything else. World corruption is more or less just a number going from 0 to 100, and the higher it gets, the more loot acts that you'll get access to. Apparently our guy is the only Indian in this world that they have as a moderator for their site, because he has the power to release a few
The only Indian in this world. Oi.
photos out in the public, and the world goes to hell in a handbasket pretty quick. Because every time you let an ecchi photo accidentally get out into the public, it raises corruption, slowly having the world change over time with NPCs' thoughts, appearances, and actions changing depending on how high this number gets. Which wasn't something I was expecting, and it was kind of cool to see how
I think he's going to talk about this like later on, but this is essentially how antis view the world. Like, no, we can't let like any pictures of anime girls like just out there on the internet, or else the world will literally fall apart. Just hilarious. But I guess I should like get caught up with the comments. Not really. Like I said, I played two games from them, the Punch one and Peeping. And they were interesting, but they ended weakly. If you finish them, you understand. Make me very like interested in trying them. That's for sure. It's a very crazy parody game. Occupation fanboy. Meet the fanboy. You just welcomed your cute son into the world. What do you want to name him? He's fanboy. What? Man, I'm really thirsty today. How thirsty? Very thirsty. Okay. They're playing Build a Broke. Uh, that's a sugar mama, isn't it? Not really. I'm pretty sure there are like extra steps to being a sugar mama. I'm pretty sure it's a different situation. Most girls are money hungry, some more hungry than others. Then there's the rare sugar mommy and the guy. Okay. Simps are very desperate people, never simp guys when we have great anime girls here. I agree. So is this just the life of a Twitter mod? Yes, pretty much. 8 and the West. Great quality girls are rare here, so good thing. Mostly a 2D guy. Okay. Actually, I'm lying. Twitter very much has moderators, unfortunately, and they're very annoying. Bro, that's not societal corruption. That's eldritch influence bleeding into reality. I think people in general are money hungry. Anyway, I know I certainly am.
NPCs change over time.
Actually, that's the thing that saved me from simping. Like, I know that's not like it has nothing to do with the video, but let me speak here. Like, there was this cosplayer. Well, there is this cosplayer. I still follow her that I really like, and she posts most of her pictures on like her social media accounts, but she sometimes locks them behind a paywall. And I got very like very tempted to actually give in and like give money to her in order to unlock the pictures behind the paywall, right? But like in the end, my love for money like won, and I ended up not being a simp. So yes, unironically, my stinginess saved me from simping. Anyway.
It's nothing revolutionary to this kind of gaming, I know that, but for these kind of games, it's neat to see and also kind of funny to think about how one guy's actions to release some spicy photos have a bigger effect on everyone. Honestly, I think since organizations like Collective Shout and other game development companies that develop these kind of games have the same kind of view on the human species, that we just magically lose our minds once we see a bit of titty. I think that they actually could come together and sing Kumbaya. They have the same message at the end.
I highly doubt that, but it's still funny.
But the main idea of this game is that the public population gets more accustomed with anything lewd, the more of it they see online, and become more and more open-minded to these kind of acts. This is where I would say a good chunk of the game's hentai comes from, because the majority of the NPCs have some kind of scene, and you unlock it by raising corruption. Of course, raising corruption isn't that simple, because if you raise it too quickly, you'll get fired from your job. Each of your job positions allow you to build up more corruption, kind of encouraging you to get more experience. I like how this kind of is saying that the more experienced employees can get away with more shit. When you get to the convention, you'll find a succubus that gives you a pair of glasses to easily see world corruption.
Wait, one thing that Aficia said is very interesting. You probably would find the paywalled content of the cosplayers leak for free. If you don't mind me like asking, like what are the usual sites that like leak this kind of stuff? Obviously, I'm not going to like disrespect the poor girls and like actually look at the pictures that they are trying to paywall. Like I'm not going to actually like disrespect their wishes, but I just want to know where these things leak so I can avoid it, you know? Just asking. Also, welcome to the membership, Akira. Thanks for subscribing. Obscure good. I mean, come on, you should know that already. Anyway, okay. I think okay. Also, Gummy Gun type shit, bro. I'm single now because anime girls are 10 times better. She made my life worse. I simp for obscure anime. You're my Oshi. Please notice me, my idol. Speaking of simping. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So that's what you meant. Okay, okay. Well, depends on the person. Rejected 5 girls in my life because I like anime girls more. Twitter people will start using the censor to validate their points. Don't give them ideas. I heard it happens on Reddit. I think. God, you just made me completely uninteresting. Uninterested. Like I have to use Reddit to see the leaks. Nah, I'd rather not. I have become always simp once again. Welcome back. I was supposed to renew it months ago and forgot. It's fine. I'm just thankful you did renew at all. Again, welcome back to the membership. Anyway, okay. OF is a waste of money, guys. When you get free, yes, yes. Not gonna lie, bro. Reddit for that ain't that bad. Well, actually, it is that bad. It's TikTok for Goonie. TikTok for Goonie, I swear. Anyway, moving on.
Option and see people's true desires. This tells you what that level needs to be for that NPC to unlock their scenes. Our protagonist gets so excited by this, in fact, that he has a whole Yami Light breakdown speech once he receives the glasses about how he's going to use this new power to corrupt anyone and make them do any of his dark desires that he wants. So if you're hoping for a good protagonist, no. Because how our guy goes about getting each of the main heroines of the game is what really makes him a scumbag. You have 3 main heroines of the game to go after. We have Misa, the kind merry woman next door. By the way, this bra doesn't exist the moment it crosses the boundary of her shirt, because those nips are just out there. Just the moment it...
No, he's got a good point. Look at this. Like, she's supposed to have a bra, but apparently her nips are just out. Does the shirt just disappear? What the hell?
crosses the boundary of her shirt, because those nips are just out there. Why does her shirt look wet too? Sorry, shit. Got too distracted by the character design. We have an idol named Yui, who's Yuta's Oshi, and we have a nun named Rika who might be a little too pent up. And each of them are located in their relevant locations. As you interact with each one, you will probably start seeing some spicy photos of them popping up as you're doing your moderation job. And you will collect these photos in order to blackmail these women. My main confusion about these photos is who is taking these shots and immediately uploading them. The nun, I understand her case, she's...
Oh my god, look at this shit. Rika, well, I am the owner of the account, contrasting bitch who wants to be humiliated. Peak fucking writing, I swear.
Doing it herself. Yuri was hired by the wrong crowd when she began her idol career, but who the hell is taking the photos of Misa doing the apartment manager? Like, some of these angles don't make sense. Once you collect a sufficient amount of evidence, you can confront each of the women about this, and then that's how their routes start. And I use route very lightly here, because it more or less just breaks down to you corrupting them more and more until they bend to your will. And this is where the other half of the H scenes will come from. And my lord, the dev for this game must be big ass NTR fans, because holy cow did they knock it out of the park with how much they shoved it into this game. That the weight of it is breaking the cuck chair. All 3 main heroines are in some kind of relationship. Misa has a husband and is cheating on him with the apartment manager so that her and her husband can stay there because her husband isn't making enough money. Ain't she a good woman?
God, so it's a double NTR. She's NTRing her husband with apartment manager, and then you're going and NTRing both her apartment manager and the husband. Just comically evil.
And she never fully lets the manager have her way with her, so it's like Yuto is cucking the guy who is cucking her husband. There are multiple layers of cucking here.
Layers of cucking.
Manager knows about this too, and he raises the rent once you complete her route.
Oh no. That's just good attention to detail. That I like. I like this detail about the game.
The idol Yui is having a secret relationship with her manager, so she doesn't want that knowledge going out into the public, so
You know, like most VTubers do.
Yuto uses the evidence to strong arm her. The church woman is a monster all in herself, which there's no way on God's green earth that any man can satisfy her with the type of stallions you see her riding.
What the fuck? You disrespectful bitch! You keep Jesus out of whatever fucking room this is. You whore! How dare you put a picture of Jesus in whatever unholy bullshit this is? How dare you? I'm not even Christian and I'm outraged.
But she has a relationship with the head priest of the church. She was hoping that their relationship would go a bit further, but it never did.
Jesus Christ, you're a nun. You're not supposed to be having... Oh my god, you're already in the wrong. Jesus Christ.
Why the hell is she a nun in the first place if she's supposed to save herself for God? But that's besides the point. So she took it upon herself to relieve these wicked desires, but she went a bit further from astray by fully indulging to the sweet call of the silicon. Yuto doesn't really have to blackmail her. He starts off with that bit, but he pivots, saying that he can help her and that he understands her. So she gets it into her head that Yuto's now her master. You cuck every one of those poor bastards. But that's not all. The Steam page says that there's 30 NPCs that have H scenes, and I swear a third of those are also NTR related. You participate in open...
Yo, I heard you like NTR, so we put NTR in your NTR so you can NTR. Wow, you NTR. Fuck you, what is this game?
Relationship. See this pink hair woman get a little unsatisfied with her boyfriend's performance in the bedroom and takes a ride on the Chocolate Express on the top floor of the apartment. You even set up a relationship and take advantage of that for peak's sake. I was dying laughing by how often they shoved it in. The way that they did it. They also have dozens of what I would, I guess, call normal scenes, and even have a twink and even a stalker. There are mainly two types of H scenes you will see. One being a repeatable movement scene of the character's overall models just bumping uglies, where you just need to click the circles. No, click the hearts in order to build up a meter to finish. The main heroines usually have multiple positions that you can change during some scenes, while NPCs usually only have one position. The other kind of scene is the same, but
Are you into NTR, Fisher? Kinda interesting to learn.
is more of a close-up, detailed version of the characters. There is a mini-game for a few scenes, but that only happens once you first reveal all the evidence that you've collected on the main heroines. But there are a ton of scenes, which is your main reward for grinding the corruption level higher and higher.
No. That's very cool. Look at this.
Reveal all the evidence that you've collected on the main heroines. But there are a ton of scenes, which is your main reward for grinding the corruption level higher and higher.
Okay.
I would give the game a 7 out of 10 crustaceans. It doesn't have much of a story, it's just there to give a basic setup for most of the characters you talk to, but what it does have is a plethora of H content and minigames to keep you busy. I do think gameplay gets a little too repetitive, definitely once you start trying to grind for the 100 corruption, but it was cool to see how the world changed over time as you raise the bar. If you never want to touch that stuff, you can just go out to the main heroines, but you're missing out on a crap ton of stuff that they added. Even if the NPCs just have a basic scenario, for most of their scenes, they do have at least a punchline. It's more or less just a game with a
Okay, I get what you mean now, Fisher. Okay. None of that, like, fake bullshit, right? Okay.
basic scenario for some kinks. The main heroines are voice acted, which is kind of nice to hear.
何をするんですか、ゆうとさん。素敵なプレゼントですか。バカ、ここ男子トイレでしょ。私を引っ張り込んでどういうつもりですか。
アカウントの所有者だという証明にはなりません。私がこんなにみだらなわけないです。
There are a few different soundtracks that you'll hear playing in the background, which mainly just sound like elevator music to me. The main one that you'll be listening to while walking around during the day drove me a bit stir-crazy with how much they shoved it in on repeat. A cool little thing that I forgot to mention until now is that the etchy images that they have you use in the game are from Mango's Party's published games. So if you played any of those games, just be prepared to remember all the context behind those scenes. Some might find it cheap. I found it funny how many images I somehow remembered the context behind, and these are way better to look at than the generic AI generated images that they use for the good images. You also see some
There's also something interesting, like, because I feel like this is a example of AI like making a game worse, but in a less obvious way than with the first game. Because like if they just use the AI for the quote unquote good scenes, for the good pictures, and like it varies for like the real art. Like the real art can either be good or bad, censor or not censor worthy, but the AI pictures can only be like quote unquote approved pictures. Then doesn't that kind of trivialize the game? Like pretty much every time you see an AI image, you're like, oh, I can approve this one. Like it just kind of cheapens the gameplay, like due to the way they implement it.
of these characters at the convention being played as cosplayers, which I found funny. You have Iono from Robo Life, and you have Mirai from Private Door Manager, and a few others which I found cool. But with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next debate.
Okay. Um. Okay, someone said that they wanted me to watch this like Dead End Coliseum. So we're going to watch that one next.
What?
But before, I'm going to get caught up with the comments. Anyway. Okay. You're all dorks. Why aren't you giving your money to me? I'm cooler, not a Diddy Blood, and I berate you for free. I don't think that's a positive. It's probably on that site called Kemono, but that place isn't getting many updates anymore. Make better content, mainstream anime. Send nudes. Why doesn't he just screw the suck? Damn, that is a good idea actually. Why didn't he just do that? You know, some girls have a grape fetish and want to be tied to a tree and grape man, woman. Okay. Okay, I get the point you're trying to make, Gummy Gun. Rika's expression looks so funny. She's my favorite already. Rika booty cleaning window pop in my mind. Oh, that's a scene. You are rather fond of that scene. I don't like mind. I think that's fine, but yeah, you definitely have a thing for that scene specifically. Ooh, none. Always manager. Oi, I don't have a manager. I'm not in a relationship with anyone. Oi. Damn, BDSM none. What do you mean, OA? It's just a big cross. What's unchristian about that? I'm not going to even. Oh my god, that reminded me of something. I'm going to get caught up with the comments and then we're going to talk about it. Girls Amendments, we got Rapunzel of the game. Good reference there. Ooh, sadistic nun, masochistic. Oh, that misread it? Okay, I'm not in. Of course you're not. Fucking Redditor. Anyway. I already addressed this by Fisher. It's like Kingdom Hearts, but instead of darkness is NTR. Fucking darkness within darkness awaits you, Riku. Fucking what is that game is not real, man. That fucking Kingdom Hearts is just not a real game. Marisatek, Bateko. My mom tried to pull me away from this stream. I did not let her. What did you just call me? A Redditor. That's what the fuck you are, son. Fucking, oh, mommy, please, spank me. Yeah, that's how you sound like. You sound like a fucking Redditor. Be an actual man. You punish the girls, not the other way around. Anyway. I'm just kidding, like, before anyone gets actually mad. But yeah, the thing that I was reminded of actually was a Riona game I saw like when I was very young and shouldn't be seeing those types of stuff. Called like Splatter Beach. In Splatter Beach, there's a specific boss, right? That since it's a Riona game, if you lose to that boss, she ties you up to one of those crosses that you saw, right? And she just rips off your skin, like rips it completely off. Like pretty much the only parts of your body that she leaves with skin are like your face, hands, and feet. And there's a CG for that too. Like it's not just something that you see in like the sprite or whatever. No, there's a full-on CG of your character like completely de-skinned, you know, and that's supposed to be like erotic. I I'm fucking gagging just remembering it. Anyway, anyway, Makima type of guy. I see. I thought you said Ratator, like Rat Matador. No. What? I have zero interest in mommies. I only care about sadistic lollies and mezugakis. I will not back down until you take back what you say. Okay, okay, fine, dude. Fine, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're not a redditor anymore. I apologize. Anyway, probably because I'm a giant booty fan. That's one of the best booties I've ever seen. And okay, you're referring to that scene. Okay. God, Riona games are not for the weak. Crucified and having your skin removed. Anyway, what the fuck? I think that's genuinely worse than anything the Romans could come up with. For gore enjoyers, it is. Yeah, that's definitely for like good offense. Uh, Actually, that's a concept for a video that I'll eventually make, like, because it's interesting to see, like, the relationship that certain types of hentai have with, like, body horror. Because it's legit interesting, like, how many body horror stories, if you change the, like, framing a bit, you could turn it into a hentai. And the opposite is true too. How many hentai stories, if you change the framing just a bit, you could legitimately turn it into like horror. You know, it's very very interesting. So I'm going to do an analysis on that. No, hell no. I hate Makima. I only care about Reze. Good taste. They make Rika's booty so good in that part. Speaking of Maris, I started playing Grand Summoners because of her, but the gacha gave me Rainbow instead. Her theme song is super cool, but I wanted Marisa because Stack sings her theme. Oh, actually, that reminds me. Like recently, I gachaed for on the alt account, right? I gachaed for Jean Uniform Yuka, right? And like it was so frustrating, man, because my pulls were very good. I was very lucky. I got not only her, but three other like 3 stars, right? But like it was very fucking frustrating because at first I got like a double 3 star like pull, and I was like, oh my god, she's definitely in here. But no, it was like the swimsuit blue-haired police girl and like the a red winter student in a kipao, right? And I legitimately like got shafted twice by Rate Up, and I was like, what the fuck is even happening, bro? How is this possible? And then again, like after a couple pulls, I got another 3 star, and it turned out to be like some completely unrelated stuff. Like I was so excited, I thought, oh, I finally got like Jin Yuka, and then the fucking like Gehenna school symbol appeared, and I was like, oh my fucking god. But eventually I got her. Again, though they were very lucky pulls, but they were very frustrating in a way. If the game has sex, Riona. If it doesn't, body horror. Raise a best girl in Chainsaw Man. Nothing can change my mind. Great taste. Doesn't Akatsuki Records make core? Okay. You probably think of something. Okay, you guys are just discussing something else. So I'm going to go back to the video. Oh, and another thing. Like, after we're done with this video, I'm going to be ending stream, but before I end stream, I'm pretty sure Big Pew asked me to, what was the name? Oh yeah, he asked me to do like a low tier god styled like bedtime story, right? So like before we end stream, I'm going to be telling you guys like a story I came up with like in that style. I hope you're looking forward to it.
What's up, guys? You're here with Cozy Lobster for the review of Dead End Coliseum. And I welcome you all to the Coliseum of Kesh, where people from all over the world come to fight in our arena and bet in our games. Where we attract all sorts of people, from the lowest of outlaws to the most renowned exorcists. And all for one major goal, to become champion of the Coliseum, which is done by our contestants winning 7 one-on-one fights in a row. Not only do they win money and fame by just participating, if one is able to pull off this feat, they can become a congressman of our state and dictate how our country is ran. Who in the hell thought that was a good idea? Though it ain't all peachy, you can quite easily die out there, and that would be a blessing, because if you're still breathing after losing your match, you become a slave to the person that beat you. And heavens forbid you're a woman, because there's no saving your ass from the spectators that bought the VIP tickets. Speaking of women, I think one of our...
Oh, so that's just Taimanin. Is that a Nazi? Yes. Hentai games go like to crazy places, man.
Newest contestants and the talk of the town, Leon.
Was that Osama bin Laden? I don't think that happened. Okay, no, I don't think that happened.
Leona's match is about to begin. I heard that she's an exorcist. Their whole job is focused on hunting down demons that pop up here and there in the world, but no demon has been sighted for years now. Most of them are just demi-humans looking for where best to apply their powers. The rumor mill has it that Leona's on the run for killing members of her own church. Good thing that once you're signed up to be a contestant, all your past crimes just get wiped away as long as you're participating. Though, between you and me, I think that woman has a screw loose or two. I've seen what that woman becomes when she hits the arena, and she's a monster, so she might actually get this done. I guess only time will tell if she'll be able to beat the other monsters, though, and wipe away her history, or this will just be another dead end just like so many others. The gameplay this time around has us play from the perspective of Leona, who just arrived in town with the goal to win all 7 of the Coliseum matches, with every match taking place 20 days from each other. Leona has been on the run for a bit and her skills are a bit rusty, so the goal of the game is to train up Leona in between her matches and make sure that she comes out on top. The majority of the gameplay is something you will see a lot in these kind of games. I don't know what the genre is called, so I'm just going to call it Locked in a Room Simulator, or LRSs for short. LRSs revolve around you standing in a room and looking at the same background the majority of the time, while debating on what stats you want to improve while needing to balance something like energy to make sure that you're not just blasting through the same shit over and over again. LRSs function mainly by having you progress through days, level relationships up, and stats, while other events just happen in the background that normally progress the story. A lot of the time you're just on rails until the game decides to stat check you anyways. Which, in this case, is every 20 days, so that's the main gameplay loop here. You have 20 days of prep period where you can work to make money, level up, and buy equipment to help you in the coming fight, and then you'll fight an opponent in a match where you play a little minigame involving all the stats that you built up. If you win, you'll repeat this process 7 times until you become champion of the Coliseum. Each round introduces a new baddie that thinks they can conquer Leona, only to be served a bit of humble
Time management game. Yeah, that is the actual term for it. The actual way they're called. Like I think this guy just doesn't know the term and that's why he's making shit up.
pie due to how overleveled I made Leona. As her trainer, she ain't got time to think about being a hoe. Okay, that's a lie. There's some good money to be made if you throw your morals out the window. Each day you'll be allowed to do one task, that then progress you to the next day. You have different work options where each one focuses on increasing a key stat like HP or attack, while also giving you a bit of pocket money. You can also train, which focuses on a couple of these stats and gives you more of a yield than just working, but also costs money and drains Leona drive and health a lot more. In order to raise those stats back up, you can rest for a day to recover health or hang out with the other NPCs of the game, which there are quite a surprising amount of, which almost all of them have some kind of model, and all of them have a little idle animations, which is kind of cool. All the NPCs you can hang out with are all citizens of Kesh, and all have a vested interest in helping Leona win, mainly due to all of them wanting to restructure the Colosseum in one way or another due to the type of people the Colosseum brings in, like thugs, that do more harm to the city than actually help it, and they want to put some regulations on the Colosseum matches to help make for cleaner matches, and they're hoping Leona is the key to this. Though this is kind of all shown and established in the intro and tutorial that is like 2 hours fucking long.
Like, I'm not against long intros, but they establish everybody that Leona's going to be dealing with while going on about how to play the game and setting up the major problems that she's going to be facing. We have 140 days to go through. You could parse this up a bit better. You'll be
Yeah, it's the persona problem of not having exactly like great pacing. Like the story being good, but the pacing, the way it's told is Oh, also welcome Kodokunasu. And I'm going to get to the comments like later, okay? For now I want to progress through the video.
seeing their mugs a lot throughout all the different shops in the game. You have Eve, who's your basic convenience store owner. She's an entrepreneur hoping that Leona will win to bring in more business. We have a gun shop run by a hunk of a man named Kotaro. At least Ludi thinks so. I really hope this isn't a self-insert. If we want to train Leona's
Like, come on, look at this dude. It's definitely a self-insert. Oh, speaking of which, like, I know absolutely none of you care, but, like, I recently, cut my hair. And, like, you remember how I said that my hair was long and stuff like that? Yeah, I recently cut it a bit more than I wanted because of Mon. But yeah, now my hair is not short, but it's definitely like way shorter than before. And the funny thing about that is that, and this is like the closest thing you guys are ever going to get to a face reveal, right? Like, the funny thing about how my hair looks now is that ironically, combined with the rest of my face and appearance, etc., it makes me look like you guys not gonna believe this. Lewis fucking Carroll. Like, actually. Like, if you want an idea, to have a good idea of how I look like IRL, like, Google pictures of Lewis Carroll, making, like, a bit more brown, right? A bit more tan, since he was a white guy. Given glasses and a beard, and you pretty much know how I look like IRL now. Anyway.
Kotaro. At least Ludi thinks so. I really hope this isn't a self-insert. If we want to train Leona's exorcist skills, we meet the sheriff of the town, who happens to also be an exorcist, and that has won at the Coliseum before. We also have Marcus the mercenary. He's the guy that runs the training facility that you can pay to use. And last but not least is Ludi, the demi-human fox, who is the one that we'll be seeing the most of due to her running the inn that Leona is staying at. And it's kind of Leona's organizer that helps her get information on her next opponent and helps her find work. The best dynamic in the game is definitely between Leona and Ludi, because someone is always playing the straight man and the other is the funny man. So they're always playing off of each other nicely. You have Ludi who's drooling over Kotaro and Leona just doesn't see it. Then you'll get another scene where you have Leona not knowing how to fill out a registration form for the Coliseum and Ludi has to help her walk her through it. Hanging out with these NPCs will raise their friendship level and give you drive, while also giving you the opportunity to find out more about these characters' backstories. Raising their levels also gives you a unique buff, like Eve is probably the best one to get early on since she increases the amount of stats and money you can get out of a job. But the other NPC buffs are really good too, like unlocking hidden shop items, or they can even give you stats for your fights. As you progress through the days, events will start popping up. A lot of the time, this involves the other combatants that you're going to face in the Coliseum. It's a bit like WWE heel versus face shit-talking before the big match, and this does a lot for the game, because I can imagine the moment I said you had to repeat this 7 times, I bet you winced a bit, because a lot of the gameplay is just
Oh god, that doesn't sound fun at all. Anyway, let me get through the comments since they accumulated quite a bit. The Matrix juice. But as I was saying, some girls like hentai love the ugly bastard. Like one VTuber wanted to be real life chubby girl by man. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there are a few women I've seen that are into like actual ugly bastards. So, whatever. I don't feel like commenting about that. Also, I can't talk and listen at the same time because I'm on my phone, and if anyone hears what I'm listening to, I might get crucified and have my skin peeled off. So the premise of the game is basically that episode of Kimi no Tabi remake. Oh, yeah, pretty much, yeah. Good comparison there. Reddit and normie spamming mommy and will dominate you and fanboy twink everywhere is 9/11 for masochists. It's like the equivalent of how normies ruined the anime community after. Oh god, I didn't even think about it that way. Jesus Christ, you guys have it rough, like genuinely. Kino's Journey, okay. Holy shit, this game looks stylish. It really does. Like, if there's one thing I will like, I'm not saying that the game is bad, but there's definitely problems with it. But if there's one thing I'm going to give it credit for is that the art style is sick, man. Demi-humans, they're very sexy in isekai. Would rather smash Tanya from Saga of Tanya the Evil or Rory Mercury from Gates? Rory, definitely. Yeah, not even a question. Oh wait, do you think all age games should let you cheat? If the game isn't extremely easy, I like it when age games let you cheat because I generally don't like to have my brain on when playing age game. I feel like if you're playing an age game, you're playing for both the age and the game. Like if you're just going to watch age scenes, like you can just watch a hentai. Like I don't see the point of an age game where you can just skip the game part. Again, maybe like you see value in that, but to me that doesn't make sense. Nah, I want age games that shake my noggin. I agree. Nice. Great, Toei. Now you just have to bleach it, and then you can NTR all the girls you want. Good one. Fair. What do you mean? You look like an anime girl IRL, right? Stop lying to me, Owe. Owe, so when are you writing Alice in Brazil Land? I didn't plan to write that, but there was a story I wanted to write called, you know what? No, I'm not going to like spoil it, but essentially it's kind of a parody of Alice in Wonderland with a little twist. Whenever I have the time to make it, I'll show it to you guys. Anyway, I like maids a lot in anime also. Army looks like Chain Soldier. Anime, great anime too. Wow, don't dox yourself away. That's unironically my kind of game. You mean like the one shown here? Pretty cool. Oh wait, what do you think about characters which are not from anime or game but are widely depicted across many media in different ways, such as Lewis Carroll's Alice? Even though she has a mostly consistent design whenever she's depicted, usually having blue, white dress and long blonde hair, I'm mad into Alice, not gonna lie. It's so great how Japanese obsessed with Alice and put her in almost every media. I don't really have any like deep thoughts about it. I just find it interesting, honestly. Gothic Lolita style maids are really hot too. That's probably going to sound fucked up, but teaching Tanya the play. God, you know what this reminded me of? Like, please don't take this as a jab against any group of people, okay? But I just recently realized that there's a kink in the among trans men specifically that's called fuck me into wanting to go back to being a woman. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that.
But the different opponents that you face throughout the game and how the story of the game evolves over time is very entertaining. You go from a common street thug to a samurai to a fucking robot. You got Leona, who is an exorcist
Wait, what? Fucking what? Robot? Why the fuck did they allow a robot in the what?
herself with a personality of a battle junkie pseudo-detective who at first tries to regain her strength, just to end up getting involved with a drug that might be responsible for her going berserk and killing her whole church. It's just very fun to see Leona go through and investigate the different opponents she's going to face and this mystery drug. Though I say that, I wasn't a big fan of the smooth talking mechanic. This will pop up at least once in every chapter of the game, and it's a shitty minigame. I wouldn't even really call it a minigame. It's supposed to be something like you should know the personality of the person you're speaking to and use that to win the argument or butter the person up in order to get information out of them to help you in the investigation. You'll have different dialogue pop-ups throughout the discussion that you can choose from that play out in a back and forth argument. But this plays out more like you just selected a response from Fallout 4 and you're crossing your fingers that that's the right one. I feel like the responses have so little
Why not? What, A Fisher? Like, can you elaborate? Like, why not what? I don't get your question.
detail that I can't tell where the conversation is going to go half the time. Plus, you have a limited amount of time to select an option. So it just feels like you're just guessing half the time. And if you fail, your opponent will just run away or hurt your companions. It's so fucking aggravating. This also ties into the ending, because if you didn't succeed at all 7 arguments of the game, you don't get to see the secret ending. The choices do matter. I just wish it was done in a better way, like using Leona's sense skills to tell you which one will most likely be the correct option for the better outcome. This is only a small part, and it only happens once in between all your matches. The real meat and potatoes is usually involved with Leona finding out how that character is connected to the bigger ungodly abomination of the story. And a lot of these characters are set up as good heals for
The robot comment. I mean, this whole game is like crazy enough that like I can see it happening, but still, like, just going from like a samurai to like a military guy to a robot, it just feels like too fast of an escalation, you know? Again, it's not that it doesn't make sense, it's just that it just feels out of nowhere. I don't know.
Leona to take down. And combat is the big hoorah at the end of these sections. If I had to quickly describe the minigame, it's like rock, paper, scissors with extra steps. In combat, you'll have 3 types of skills: attack, defense, and support, where each are supposed to counter each other. You want to use attack skills when they're using support, and defend yourself when someone's attacking, while supporting yourself if they're defending. You don't really need to follow these, but it's the best way to min-max your stats. Some of these skills usually have a cost assigned to them, called commander points, or CP. Who thought that was a good abbreviation?
Oh my god, why? I get that it's a different culture and etc., but please, can Asian games stop like using CP as an abbreviation? That's a thing in Nikkei too. Like, they abbreviate combat power to your CP. Like, you have 500,000 CP. No, stop. Please, I don't want any CP. Please, fuck it.
Combat is a round-based system where every turn your opponent will select a few of these skills, and you will have to counter them with your own, where both of you have health bars that you need to slowly whittle down in order to win. If you were able to see all your opponent's moves, this would be a very boring game. So
Red Ribbon from OG Dragon Ball, Samurai, Military Guy, and Robot. Also, welcome to the stream, Generico.
their moves you'll be unable to see. You'll need to predict your opponent's moves by seeing how many points they use and to guess whether or not it's safe to do a certain action. All of Leona's stats play a key role here. Health, damage, defense, aim, and evasion are all pretty obvious on what they do for you, with the sense probably being the only one that's not too obvious, which the higher this stat is, the more likely you'll be able to see what your opponent's going to do. If this was it, I would be pretty happy with the game mode. It's fun trying to figure out what your opponent's going to be doing next, but there's two mechanics that completely break the game, one being the guard meter, where every time you hit your opponent, you'll whittle down this little guard here, and once you break it, they're unable to do any actions for a few turns, which leaves them wide open for you to open up a can of whoop-ass on them. And on top of that, you have Trigger Happy mode, which you can activate after building up TP during the match, which allows you to use a skill called Dominate, which that is an understatement. You will rip your opponent a new asshole with this skill. This allows you to attack the enemy for the amount of CP you have built up. The moment I was able to dominate one time in the match was over because this would just lead into a cycle of breaking the enemy's guard, then reactivating Trigger Happy again by the time they were unbroken, just to break them again. It's so overpowering. You just lay them on your lap and paddle them, and there's nothing they can do about it. I do love this game mode. It's like a little puzzle trying to figure out what they will do next, but Trigger Happy mode just destroys that. There are multiple difficulties, and I played on the default one most of the time, so if you want more of a challenge, try the harder one. Once you do beat your opponent, you'll get a grade like it's an arcade game and some cash. Usually also resulting in a long set of interactions that show off the next big bad that you have to face off against, and teases you a bit for what's in store for Leona next. And that is mainly it for the gameplay. Train for 20 days, have a big fight, and indulge in all the hentai a bit. Oh yeah, that's what I forgot to talk about. To be fair, the hentai is just kinda sucks ass.
Lol. Okay, before we get to that, you guys are like saying some interesting things, so let me address that. Okay. Inspired on a certain Yuri hentai parody of Alice? No, I didn't even know that that was a thing. I like Alice Madness, the game very... Oh, yeah, Alice Madness is a pretty good game. Where is she? Why not? Not gonna lie, I might download and play this game tonight. I mean, it does seem like a pretty cool game, so I don't blame you. Well, still, very sexy Tanya, mostly because she's an army girl. I like army styles. Ah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Off the top of my head, I can think of 4 Carol-inspired Alices. Toho, SAO, Kirino Mosaic, Black Souls, I think, haven't played it. Definitely more that I'm forgetting, though. There's a literal, like, fully inspired by Alice in Wonderland episode in Code Geass also. So that's another one. And it's a extra episode, but still pretty interesting. And I'm pretty sure I've seen like Alice, like the actual character of Alice in like the Duke of Death, and her appearance is pretty funny in the Duke of Death and his maid. So yeah, that Alice definitely appears a ton in anime and manga. Okay, I get how Alice ties into SAO, but that one barely feels related to Alice in Wonderland at all. Why not XP? Out of all the ones I listed, that one's probably the most blatant Carol coded though. How so, son? In universe, she's literally named after Carol Zeller. I'm not comfortable about that. CP is rarely used. Now people call it CSAM, which is what you should call it. Fair. You know what? That's a good argument. Her outfit's the most faithful to the popular design of Alice. I don't know about Black Souls though. Feels so crazy saying CP, which is combat power, but she's still more. Yeah. Again, I get the Fisher's point, but I still prefer if they didn't like use CP in games for combat power. Like you can. I feel like you should be able to call it something else. Like you know what? Why not invert it? Like PC points of combat. Like it's again, I get a Fisher's comment, but still. Also, the entire setting where SAO Alice is in is literally called Underworld, and it's also inspired from the rabbit hole that Carol's Alice falls into. This is completely unrelated, but I was playing this Toho RTS game. What? And of course I was cheating because I wanted to... okay. And it was more... Okay. I sucked at cheating too because nobody told me your territories could rebel. Nobody told me it might be harder to beat an army with 4 billion soldiers after that. Yeah, it's time to hang up the boots. Anyway. Okay, people are just talking about Alice. Okay. Points of combat, so better. Well, even if Tanya is an old man in a Tanya body, I still consider it a girl. That's a person. Okay. We could like go on about like Tanya's like identity for hours, I feel like, but I just don't feel like it. Anyway.
It does my personal cardinal sin over using the same CG positions over and over again for the majority of the scenes, while the build-up and length of these scenes are just short. At some point along this journey, you'll get the option to allow people to take advantage of you during work. She does this once to get information, but why she does it afterwards? Fan service. These gotta be the most stupidest scenarios, because most of the time it's something like, oh, ow, my butt hurts from riding on horseback all day.
I can help with that.
Then he starts rubbing her ass like it's a cheap 70 porno stick. Or another one where you're supposed to be escorting somebody who's too damn nervous to sit still, so he pulls his favorite lesson from Donald Trump and just grabs Leona in the just to calm down. These do kind of evolve over time too, because Leona has a lust level. The higher you get this, the more stages you unlock, and lust is built up by allowing these events to happen in the first place, but they ain't worth grinding out at all.
Okay, bye for now, Pew. Thanks for participating.
Though at higher levels you can sell yourself better, which does rake in a good bit of profit. There are also H
Sell yourself better, just amazing.
Scenes for maxing out your friendship level. Some have Leona with said friend, while others don't involve her at all, oddly enough. I will give them some credit here that a few of these scenes do have decent build-up, like with the gun shop otaku, but some are just stupid, like the sheriff getting forced into a tutu dress. God, these make no sense. Well, if you were worried that's all the game had for hentai, you can rest assured the game was saving its full load for once Leona was defeated in the arena, because there's a whole ass slave mechanic. Well, saying mechanic is...
Of course there is.
Like giving it more justice than it deserves. It's just a very watered-down LRS with the illusion of choice, with every option just leading to cum. You get a few pleasure options with a resting button when your energy gets too low, and that's kind of it. Once you enjoy enough time, you can view very simple animated scenes with different positions. Besides the beginning scene, setting up why Leona is here and arguing with the opponent she lost to, this more or less just boils down every time to her just being a sex slave to an infinite amount of guys due to losing. There's nothing else here until you hit end of the simulation button that plays another little scene. It's the same thing for all opponents, just a different phase for each one. I'm assuming this is where all the budget went into. There are 7 versions of this for every competitor that you can lose to, and each one has Leona in a different outfit, and you have different animations that play out for these events, but there is nothing here besides that. And it just came out feeling like a wet fart, due to what I'm assuming is them thinking that the hentai is enough, not needing anything else here. Also, I don't understand the point of having Leona build up a rivalry with all the different opponents, just so when these scenes do happen, I just get a gangbang, and it doesn't involve the other party member. And with that, I think I'll move on and give my thoughts on the story, so if you don't want spoilers, jump to the timestamp on screen here. Let me ask y'all a question. What do you think a demon, a monster, and an exorcist all have in common?
Nanomachine, son.
Don't worry, I wasn't expecting the right answer. Not like I gave any hints to it. Not like the game did either. I wasn't expecting my quiet little Western-themed game to jump to that, and it's one of the best things about the game. The setting is just hilarious. You have a world set in the time period of the Wild West, and it just evolves into something more like cowboys versus aliens. But it's nanomachines instead, as a Deus Ex Machina to everything. Demons are people from a parallel world 500 years into the future with the ability to transform their body at will and have super
Oh my god, I thought he was kidding. It's fucking literally nanomachines. Just. Oh god.
superhuman strength because of nanomachines. Monsters are just robots that kidnap people from Leona's world and bring them back to the other world to be sold as slaves because slavery is illegal in that world. But somehow nanomachines know when you're enslaved, but people in this world don't have those, so demons just come here to kidnap people. The cherry on top of all this is that exorcists are people that have nanomachines into them due to demons coming over and just sleeping around with the local population, and them somehow passing their nanomachines down to their kids like it's genetics.
That's not how. Fuck yeah.
It's so funny as hell that everything correlates back to nanomachines, and how the plot just exploded from a woman trying to pardon herself by participating in an arena to trying to stop another worldly invader from kidnapping people. It is the most entertaining part of the game. This of itself makes the build-up for each fight great, and it is never the same. You got a samurai that's fighting for his boss that's connected to a drug that awakens nanomachines and bodies. You have an
Like, this is what I was talking about when, like, I said that obviously this guy was very disappointed with a more, like, unique, with a more, like, generic plot. Because this is the kind of stuff that he plays regularly on his channel. Like, is this balls to the wall bullshit, you know? So, of course, he was bored with that.
exorcist that is helping make this drug and finding out through them that this church and state are the same thing, and that the church doesn't really believe in God anymore and just believes more into science. Every contestant you go against all have great characters and are entertaining, so you're not always dealing with the same old riot act over and over again. But instead, the world just gets more chaotic the further you go on. This is a double-sided sword, of course, because the ending goes so off the rails that you end up nuking half the city in the true ending. It's entertaining.
The true ending as you fucking. Oh my god. What the hell?
Because it's so ridiculous, but I wouldn't say it's a good story. The main star, Leona, I think is a fine character. She isn't anything too complicated. She's just a woman who's trying to survive another day and ready to die any minute. The best part about her, in my opinion, is going through her history, to finding out that she probably was the one that really murdered her church members, but she was drugged at the time, to finding out the head of her church is running the Colosseum and she thought he was dead. And it just so happens that the locals are taking a new drug that makes them go berserk and just start murdering people randomly. Which I think you can kind of connect the dots there, that she was framed after she was forced to take this drug and then just let loose to kill everybody in her sect. So the later half of the story evolves into trying to take this man down. I'm gonna go in the weeds really quick because I just need to get this off my chest. Yeah, he's also a demon. There's also another demon named Lapis, who turns out to be Ludi at the end, and they're wanting to arrest this man because it's illegal to be in this world as a demon. This is what I meant by double-edged sword, because I didn't need my M. Night Shyamalan twist to be Ludi was a demon the whole time thing. They also have a fake out with a true ending where it looks like both Ludi and Leona die to a nuke blast, but they don't. The ending's just not good at shit. But the story overall is fun to me, but I won't say it's good. Mainly,
What is this game even about? Fuck if I know, dude. Just fucking. Fucking acid trip.
due to how wacky the story get and what they keep throwing at you. And I like how they handle Leona as she went through her investigation into what was actually happening in the Colosseum. I would rate the game a 6 out of 10 crustaceans. I don't think the game is bad overall, it just feels a bit rough. The normal gameplay loop is fine, I do think it drags on a bit near the end, but it really is carried by the other NPCs of the game. Those guys are the real all-stars here. And if it was only just Leona and friends, and the opponents were just faces that were faceless, the dynamic of the game wouldn't have worked at all. But having every one of those
Yeah, I think we already heard enough. I think we already get the point. So yeah, I'm just going to get caught up with the comments now. Give you guys a bedtime story, and we'll end stream. Okay. 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 I don't think I need to address a Fisher's comments. I think we just agree on this at this point. I just like Underworld to the Rabbit Hole because they are undergrounds. They are fantastical setting, bizarre. Okay. Like, let's say in the next night, let's say our next life we're a girl and remember we're a guy, we're still a guy. Now, okay. Guess Underworld isn't literally underground, so I just mean the name. Lapis is cute, always asleep. No, I was not asleep. For me, I say it's all about biology. Yeah, I get the point you're trying to make here, Gummy in relation to like Tanya's identity. Fucking nanomachine, son. Collective consciousness starts playing. This reminds me of that isekai, make my abilities average. That's literally the explanation for why the protagonist is so overpowered in medieval fantasy. Her magic and superhuman body is literal nanomachine. Oh yeah, I remember that. That was a fun anime. It would be mad funny if the manuscript was just someone trolling. Voynich has not been translated yet. What if the guy was on drugs to enter for Plan of Existence, then forgets that it's what he just writes does not. Anyway, let's get to the bedtime story. Now, I don't have low tier gods creativity, so this is a mostly like adapted kind of story that's like someone else wrote. It's essentially like a fan no hitori hentai that I'm just kind of adapting to this format. Just so you know where I got this from. Once upon a time, there was a very evil and very uh sadistic girl that liked to bully the guys around her into giving her money. And if they couldn't pay, she would just beat the shit out of them. One day during. Oh, okay. Bye, Gummy Gun. Thanks for participating. One day, uh, like in the midst of bullying a guy for not having enough money, she feels herself being pulled into like an enclosed space. Like in an instant, in a singular movement. When her eyes adjust, she realizes that she is in a sack, like a literal meat sack, with a lot of other girls crammed in there, like they're a bunch of sardines. Though the other girls are naked, which is something that she doesn't understand at first until she sees that the meat sack is literally secreting a substance that is slowly melting her own clothes off. To her horror, she realizes that whatever creature has just captured her sack, whatever creature has just captured her isn't like stopping at her and the other girls. The creature is capturing more and more girls during its like rampage. And the worst part is that the sack isn't getting like a lot bigger, you know? So they just feel more and more cramped in there until it feels like they're all just going to get crushed under each other's weight. When it feels like this will be too much for them to handle, they're all suddenly let go into the outside world once again. But to their horror, they realize that the creature that just kidnapped them is Krampus. Like, you know, the literal like Christmas demon, you know? And they're now in his workshop. Each of the girls is then taken to a particular room of this workshop. And we follow our protagonist as she realizes what her fate will be for being a very naughty girl this Christmas. Where essentially she gets her soul pulled out of her body, which is molded into like an onaho in the shape of her general like appearance, right? Not only that, but she has to watch in further horror as the Krampus not only delivers her body, has like a gift, like a literal wrapped gift, her soulless body to the homeless people so they can use her like collectively, but he then like takes the Onaho like molded soul and delivers it to the boy she was bullying so he can use her with her consciousness still intact for the rest of her life. And yeah, that's your bedtime story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And goodbye. Fucking honor so. And yeah, to the people like and that are familiar with this guy's work, this should be like they shouldn't sound out strange at all. I mean, it should probably sound strange, but like it shouldn't sound unusual that he does this kind of thing. And yeah, he still like makes dungeons like that. But yeah, without with that out of the way, bye. Fucking, I just fucked up the whole like storytelling. I really should have planned this out better, but whatever. Unfortunately, I don't have low tier god